Silver Dollar City is perhaps one of the most revered theme parks in all of North America. Since 1960, the park has called the city of Branson, Missouri its home, and has built up a collection of thrilling flat rides and unique roller coasters. Modeled after Branson in the 1880s, this park manages to combine elaborate theming and beautiful landscaping with an attraction lineup that will please almost anybody, and that can be attributed to Herschend Family Entertainment, who have operated the park since its inception. Although the company has owned and operated other properties over the years, such as Dollywood, Wild Adventures, and Kentucky Kingdom, Silver Dollar City remains one of its flagship parks. With that said, most would assume that Silver Dollar City has claimed a foothold as the only major theme park in Branson, but that wasn't always the case. The city used to have a second park, one that was just as well themed as the former, and what's more, it was even operated by the same company. Herschend's involvement with Celebration City began in 2002, when the company set its sights on Branson USA. Not the city, this was a 40-acre park that opened at the end of the Branson Strip, intended to pay tribute to the city's history and legacy. Although the park was not as large as Silver Dollar City, Herschend saw an opportunity to add the park to its portfolio. Located only 10 minutes away from Silver Dollar City, Branson USA was up against some stiff competition when it first opened in 1999. The park contained a small number of flat rides and even a few roller coasters. These included a Wisdom Rides Flying Dragon Wagon, which served as the park's kiddie coaster, a Pinfari Zyklon, and Firestorm, a unique S&MC Hurricane model. S&MC's biggest claim to fame was designing High Roller, the now defunct coaster that used to operate atop Las Vegas's Stratosphere Tower. Firestorm was quite intense for its size, with 2 compact helixes and sudden drops diving under track and supports. Branson USA operated for 3 seasons, offering a more traditional amusement park experience in contrast to the heavily themed Silver Dollar City, but found itself unable to compete. After 3 seasons of losing money, the park shut down in 2001. Standing but not operating for months, 2002 would bring about a significant change. Early that year, Herschend Family Entertainment purchased Branson USA, effectively making it a sister park to the flagship park only 10 minutes away. Rather than worrying about the 2 parks competing, Herschend instead believed they could complement each other, with each park offering its own themed experience. To bring Branson USA up to the company's standards, Herschend would leave the park closed throughout 2002 while a massive transformation took place. Most of the existing rides were removed and replaced with new attractions. The park was also expanded to take further advantage of the land it sat on and construct new themed areas. May 1st, 2003 would be the park's grand opening date, and when that time came, Branson USA was long gone. The company's efforts had transformed the park into Celebration City, Branson's second major theme park. As guests stepped through the gates, major changes could already be seen. Families rushed in as Celebration City's first season officially began.
Celebration. What makes a new theme park something to celebrate? A thrilling ride to the stars? Yes. A dazzling laser show? Absolutely. It's a celebration. But when my family can go out for a night together, rediscover each other, and enjoy what it means to be a family, now that is something to celebrate. Celebrate together.
Silver Dollar City presents the all-new theme park Celebration City, the night place for families.
The biggest change that Herschend's ownership brought to Celebration City was the addition of multiple themed areas. To continue where Silver Dollar City's 19th century theming left off, Celebration City had areas themed to America in the 20th century. Upon passing through the park entrance, guests found themselves on Celebration Street, home to several gift shops and food venues, and ending at the park's vintage carousel. Heading left from this point would lead to Route 66, housing the park's roller coasters and several thrill rides. Going right would lead to Electric Boardwalk, themed to a beachside boardwalk in the 1920s. In addition to more thrill rides, this area also housed Celebration City's nightly fireworks and projection show Nightfire. With a medley of music from throughout the 20th century and a stunning fireworks display at the end, it was a patriotic tribute to America's musical history, and guests seemed to agree.
The show, the laser light show.
The laser light show.
It was awesome.
It was absolutely patriotic, and it really raised the hair on my arms.
Absolutely beautiful.
Big explosions, loud noises.
I like the lasers.
I like how they say thank you to the heroes and stuff like that.
Nightfire was one of the main attractions at Celebration City, as the park opened in the afternoon and stayed open late into the evening. This decision was made with the intention of guests starting their morning at Silver Dollar City before moving down the road to end their day at Celebration City. To encourage potential guests to do this, Herschend frequently offered combo tickets to both parks, and they were advertised together in commercials. Nightfire, however, was not the only main attraction at Celebration City. Although most of the roller coasters and thrill rides from Branson USA were removed, multiple new attractions were brought in. Firestorm, renamed to Thunderbolt, would be the only coaster from Branson USA to not be removed. New additions included Jackrabbit, an E&F Miler coaster with incredibly tight turns and a multitude of airtime hills. Among the park's flat rides was Accelerator, an S&S double shot tower, Fireball, a swinging and rotating pendulum attraction, and Shoot-de-Shoot, the park's log flume. Milder attractions included a Ferris wheel, bumper cars, and a full go-kart track called Route 66 Speedway. Celebration City seemed to have a solid ride lineup, but Herschend realized during construction that the park would need an iconic roller coaster, a main thrill attraction to draw crowds. They would hire Great Coasters International, responsible for coasters like Hershey Park's Lightning Racer and more recently Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. The finalized coaster, Ozark Wildcat, was revealed in 2002, and it would be one of the most compact coasters GCI had ever designed. Located far back in the park's Route 66 area, the coaster packed over 2,600 feet of track into a corner of the park right next to the highway. Those driving past the park would see Ozark Wildcat well before any other attraction, and it became the star attraction of Celebration City. The first drop circled back through the supports of the lift hill, and the coaster passed through the lift hill a further 2 times over the course of its layout. Despite a height of only 80 feet, Wildcat maintained its speed of 45 miles per hour over much of the layout, packing in 8 airtime moments throughout. The airtime and speed would become the defining features of the coaster, with those coming off the ride in almost universal agreement.
It was awesome!
It's fast. Everything is really fast.
Hills and everything.
Had airtime on it. It was just great. It's a great wooden roller coaster.
Oh, we loved it. That thing is the fastest thing. It is so surprising. You'd think it wouldn't be that fast, but
And it goes so fast.
It makes your stomach go up. Your stomach go up.
speed. I like the bunny hop.
I loved it a lot.
The $40 million expansion seemed to have been worth the effort, as Celebration City was slowly becoming a familiar name in the Branson area. Herschend's plans seemed to have worked, as the two parks complemented each other in their theming, and their close proximity to each other gave pass holders choices on where to spend their day. After its successful opening in 2003, Celebration City would continue to operate for the next 5 years. In the years following its opening season, Celebration City would continue to operate from May to October, receiving small park improvements each year. The park would never see any kind of significant investment like that of the 2003 expansion, but a few new attractions were added. In 2006, Nightfire was updated in favor of a new projection show titled Ignite the Night. Featuring updated effects and a new track list, this show allowed the management to once again market Celebration City as a nighttime-focused park to contrast Silver Dollar City as the daytime park. Despite these marketing efforts, Celebration City underperformed financially for much of its operational life compared to Silver Dollar City. Some speculate this is due to the park's smaller size and shorter list of attractions, but others believe that Herschend's marketing strategy was also the park's downfall. Those who had season passes visited Celebration City once or twice to see what the park was like, but most ended up preferring Silver Dollar City, spending their days at that park instead. Tourists visiting Branson were likely unfamiliar with the area, but instead chose to visit the park that they heard about before traveling, Silver Dollar City. The frequent cross-promotions between the two parks gave off the impression that Celebration City could not stand on its own without Silver Dollar City nearby. This left Celebration City with frequent low attendance, despite the positive reviews the park seemed to be getting. As the park continued to operate along, it would receive its final major addition in 2008, Roaring Falls. This shoot-the-chute water attraction was actually relocated from the closed Geauga Lake, which shut down in 2007. There, the ride was known as Shipwreck Falls. The ride experience was simple. Riders were carried up a lift hill in a boat before turning and going down the drop, creating a massive splash that soaked the riders and those standing nearby. Although Roaring Falls was a good addition to the park, it would not be enough. The 2008 economic recession was already underway, and with tourism declining nationwide coupled with Celebration City's low attendance, this would be the final nail in the coffin for the park. October 24, 2008 was to be the penultimate day of that season. As the park opened its gates like usual, Herschend Family Entertainment announced that Celebration City would finish its operating season and close permanently. That's right, they gave the park, its staff, and all pass holders a one-day notice. The announcement caught many off guard, as the park seemed to be doing fine, but unmet financial expectations were the main reason cited for the closure. It was clear that the 2008 recession had hit the park hard, but many believed that it would have closed around the same time regardless of the economic issues of the time. The park simply did not have the same appeal as Silver Dollar City, and the Branson area could not support two destination theme parks, especially at the time. With the closing announcement fresh in everyone's mind, Celebration City operated for its final day on October 25, 2008. Staff members were given one final ride on Ozark Wildcat, and once the train pulled back into the station, that was the end for Celebration City. Although most of the employees were able to find new positions at other Herschend properties, such as Branson's Whitewater and of course Silver Dollar City, many of them lamented the loss of Celebration City. One question was frequently asked at the time: what would become of the park and its attractions? Herschend stated at the time of the park's closing that they were exploring potential redevelopment ideas for the site, including an aquarium, retail and dining, and even retheming the existing park, but these would not come to be. For the next 7 years, Celebration City would stand abandoned at the end of the Branson Strip, a depressing reminder to everyone driving by of the active park that was once there. As the park sat abandoned, most of its attractions would find new life at other amusement parks and Herschend properties, so several pieces of Celebration City live on. One of the original Branson USA coasters, Flying Dragon Wagon, was sold to a then under construction park in Florida called Zoomers, and although it was constructed, the park was never able to find enough of a financial footing to open. Although the park is open now under the name Fast Tracks Entertainment, Flying Dragon Wagon was scrapped before it could ever open. Branson USA's Zyklon, on the other hand, has had an interesting journey over the years. After being sold during Branson USA's redevelopment, it operated for 3 years at Michigan's Saginaw County Fair, only operating for roughly 1 week each year. In 2007, it was moved to Funplex in Omaha, Nebraska, and operated under the name Big O for 10 years. Most recently, it has been reconstructed at Denver, Colorado's Lakeside Amusement Park, so although this coaster has been all over the country, it continues to provide thrilling rides to this day. As for Celebration City's signature attractions, some of the flat rides were moved to Georgia's Wild Adventures, such as the park's Scrambler, which now is called Whirling Wildcats. Accelerator, the S&S Double Shot Tower, was moved to Silver Dollar City, where it still operates as Firefall. Thunderbolt was sold to Colorado's Glenwood Caverns, where it is now called Cliffhanger, the highest elevation coaster in North America. Much like Zyklon, Jackrabbit has also had an interesting life, first being moved to Wild Adventures in 2010. It operated there as Viking Voyage until 2018, where after a brief storage at Fun Spot Atlanta, it reopened at the end of 2019 as Hurricane at Fun Spot America in Kissimmee, Florida. Although these attractions were saved, the one that wasn't was also what hurt the most. Ozark Wildcat stood abandoned for 7 years, its Millennium Flyer train sent to Dollywood, likely to be used as parts donors for Thunderhead. Despite this, many enthusiasts held out hope that the coaster could be sold and relocated. Sadly, this would not come to be, and after those 7 years, it was demolished in December 2015. As of 2021, it is the only coaster by GCI to be completely demolished rather than be remodeled into a hybrid coaster.
I just like the family environment. It just really seems very clean, good place to be with your family and have fun.
But yes, it's great for all ages.
It's got things for kids and things for adults and things for everybody to enjoy.
You can ride go-karts, you can do miniature golf, you can do rides, you can see fireworks, you
you got a little bit of everything.
In the years that have followed Wildcat's demolition, not much has become of the former Celebration City. One of the park's former buildings, as well as its parking lot, are leased by the Woodland Hills Family Church, but the rest of the park is still mostly intact. Signs and colors have faded and nature has begun taking over most areas of the park, but the 20th century themed areas are still present and the park is in surprisingly good condition given how much time has passed. There are only 2 attractions still present on the property, the Route 66 go-kart track and the park's vintage carousel. All other rides were either sold or demolished, including Geauga Lake Shipwreck Falls, which only operated at the park for 1 season. Now that Ozark Wildcat is gone, most people driving by on the strip likely don't know that there was a theme park here, but there are those who still remember Celebration City and the fun times they had there. Herschend Family Entertainment continues to operate the nearby Silver Dollar City, and they have added thrilling new attractions that ensure the park maintains its place as Branson's destination theme park. Although Herschend still owns the land Celebration City once sat on, it is used mostly for storage now. It remains to be seen if the park will be sold or redeveloped, but there will always be those in Branson who remember the 20th century city where a wildcat once roamed the Ozarks.